We all know the way my show goes is I'm just like, I got nothing prepared. Let's talk about stuff.
We're going to chat. We're chat.
You know what I forgot to ask you before I started recording this?
What?
I was going to be like...
What my sign is? What?
Yeah, what is your sign?
It's a Virgo.
Oh, my moon
Don't hate me, don't hate me, don't hate me.
No, I
Okay.
don't hate you. My moon is in Virgo, which means we're both very, like, anxious and, like, we need organization.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you're speaking my language right there.
Do I have organization? Not at all, as you can tell from my response rate.
You're Scorpio, obviously. Yeah, with your tattoo, your lovely tattoo, I can see.
Can you tell that
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, if they change, when they changed the, like, moons or whatever the fuck they changed, they're like, oh, everybody's not what they are. There was, like, a 13th planet, and then you're like, damn. I wish I hadn't got this tattooed on my body because I don't like scorpions on personality. I mean, they're kind of rude. Yeah, Scorpios. My dad's a Scorpio. I love my dad.
My dad's a Gemini, and I have his sign as my descendant. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What does descendant mean? I'm a mess. What does that mean exactly?
So you have your main sign, which is like your month or whatever. Yeah. And then you have, depending on the time and location that you're born.
Oh, it really gets that fucking specific? Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought it was just like, oh, there's a date.
Well, there's like other signs and in correlation with planets and stuff. I don't understand that stuff. I just know my top 3.
Is there something about it? What moon or what Mercury and something or other? What like when you were actually born? Is there something about that too? Like what was actually rising or something like that?
Yeah. So my rising is the rising the moon? I don't know.
It's probably not. I probably confused you because I really don't know anything about it.
Listen, this podcast is over.
It's done. We're done.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Anasimone Show. Forgot to introduce it. My name's Anasimone. This is a show where I talk about stuff.
Today
I have Liz. Liz is amazing. Liz is the reason why I have this podcast.
Oh, we have a door now.
wish
you could show people. What? Oh, well, we're going to put them inside. Like the cameras are going to come inside because we've actually added like an inch that side. You can see that there's actually more depth. Ooh. So yeah, we added a door.
I like that. I thought the door was like a barrier to anything else. How are people gonna see us?
How do we get out? You open the door.
What?
Oh God, doors. I don't know that yet.
Oh God.
How are we filming this?
People are gonna listen to this podcast and be like, "What is going on?
Where are they?" We're just adding doors. It's art, it's artscape. We're artists. What can we tell you?
It's a space.
It's a space, yeah. What were you going to ask me before, though? You said I didn't. I forgot to ask you something.
I forgot. Liz started this. Correct me if I'm wrong. You started Evoke.
I did, right? Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, did I just throw you? Is your manager going to walk in? And then I realized you're the boss.
Like, don't give her credit.
You're the head honcho.
Yeah. I created Evoke. Yeah. I mean, like within its own. It was also connected to like Plaid Zebra, which is the magazine, right? So that's sort of where it began. And like I work with some people on OW, so like Ontario Works, and that's people who maybe just have had a break in their employment history for whatever reason, and they're on some sort of government support, or they're on ODSP, so Ontario Disability Support Program. And so I started working with people, but in the realm of digital media. So like my boss is really into video and film and social media and stuff like that. And so he basically had all these clients that were either like in the past took some sort of school in that way or have that interest or whatever and wanted to get back into it or wanted to do it professionally, but they have a disability or whatever, and they're not accepted in like a specific setting. So they'd come to me for like job coaching and support and stuff like that. And then out of that, we kind of built the social media side of things and like web design. And then I just talked to my boss one day and was like, I really love doing podcasts. Like, can we do that thing? And then it just sort of snowballed that way.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And that's how we're here right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy you reached out to me. Otherwise, I would have never had a podcast.
Really? I feel like you would have. I feel like eventually somebody would have.
I wanted to do it, but like the concept, like the idea of like having to record or like if it wasn't for you
right.
and like
accountability to somebody else.
Exactly. If no one else was like editing this and like so keen on like my social media page, I would be a mess. I'm already a mess right now. Like I take 7 years to like reply to your text.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're getting better, but you're not a mess. No, I mean, like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, you seem very together.
Wow.
You do, like, actually, yeah. Like, I don't know how you would put on what, like, the things that you put on, the shows that you do.
This is all
It's not me. It's a puppet, actually. I record, I'm controlling it from backstage. It's a robot. No, you do so much. I mean, yeah, eventually, it takes a lot to do what you do.
Oh man, this is
just in case you didn't know that
about me. Thank you so much.
We're just gonna compliment each other back and forth. Let's just hype each other up.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That was just me hyping you up, then hyping me up, and then hyping you up again.
Yeah,
Welcome
that's cool.
to the Hype Up Podcast. Let's talk about how you are about to do your potentially master's in film. How did you get into film? Why did you get into film?
Oh, film? Like when I was a kid. So my dad's a photographer, or like he was a professional photographer in the days of actual like processing film. And so that had a very sudden change when everybody was like, I can buy a digital camera and my fucking cousin Billy can be the photographer. Like, we don't need an advertising department. So my dad, like, I watched him sort of go through that process, and he was like really, really, really like gritty about like, okay, you have a new like technology, like I'm going to learn it. So I watched him sort of like buy one of the first like Macs that you could have at home, probably like lean our home against like in order to get that. But like have this computer when we were like in, I guess I was in middle school or something like that. And he had this Mac computer. I was like, what? This is amazing. First computer we really had in the house. And watch him like learn Photoshop and like learn like just I literally would sit there and watch him edit photos. And, that was really cool. He was really like into lighting, and like, he just had this very artistic, keen eye. And I took a lot that from him in that. And he would like we'd always watch classic movies together. And we were a big like Blockbuster family. Like we were all over that shit. Like every single weekend, every Friday, we were renting those movies. I miss that. Man. Me too.
I miss Blockbuster.
Honestly, I can stream shit or like buy stuff, but there's like something about like going there and like going through the movies and like finding something you didn't think that you weren't there to look for.
Right.
Like that's totally different than like just being like, oh yeah, somebody told me Jumanji's out, so I'm gonna fucking watch Jumanji. I don't know. I did that this weekend. But maybe I would have seen something different. The Rock is hot.
Seen it. Is it good? Or is it like?
I mean, yeah, it's good. Like there's a nostalgia to it because of I don't know, you watched it obviously, like the original.
That's the one reference I will understand.
Yeah. You explain Jumanji to me now. So Robin Williams. Or you wouldn't know his name. Yeah, this man. He looks so old, but he's not. And he's like a kid, but I don't know. Now you guess. There's rhinos.
For those of you tuning in, last time I tried to describe... Fuck, I forgot the film again.
It's Godzilla.
Tried to describe Godzilla by saying giant lizard, dinosaur, terrorizing a city.
Terrorizing a city. But I loved it more because it was also like an analogy of how like you're going to take over the world, which is so great because it was just like, you'd be like, I'm going to, like, what's up for you next? And that was your response. It was about how you are Godzilla in this situation, just fucking up the city.
A really deep individual.
And I was like ready for it. I was like, okay, here we go. This is going to be real gold.
And then you were like, Godzilla?
And I was like, Godzilla? Shit. It was fucking Godzilla the whole time. I thought it was going to be something real. Anyways.
No. Sorry, back to you.
It's hilarious. Yeah, we were a big Blockbuster family. And like, I think, we were renting like so many films every week. But what they had was a previously viewed section. Everybody knows that. Like the cheap movies that would be gone or whatever, like off of the shelf. And there was a lot of film festival movies that they put up there. They used to like put Hot Docs and TIFF and like what? One or two, like people would go there and buy like, Hollywood shit or whatever. But I would see these films that were independent-ish. And I used to buy them like as a kid. And I used to watch them and was just really interested in like storytelling. And I wanted to be an actress and like all of these kinds of things sort of like, I guess, fit together. And then there was an opportunity. My sister went to an arts high school for singing. So it's like, it was like a place in the country. Like I lived in Brampton.
This doesn't sound real.
It totally is real. It's just a place where like a lot of white kids would go and like dance in the halls.
Is this Humber College? This sounds like Humber College.
It was Humber College. It was Humber High School. What can I say? No, it was, it's called Mayfield. And
I've heard of it.
You have it? Okay. Yeah, so it's called Bayfield. Right now it's like quite different because there's a lot of like suburban sort of movement up there. And we literally, like, if you were in the field, like there were cows there. Like it was very country. So I would like bus. Anyway, so my sister went there and my parents were very focused on like me going there for something. And they wanted me to go there for music. So I played the saxophone. Not well.
We need to talk about that.
Did you play the saxophone?
No.
Oh, you just want to talk about music?
I played the trumpet.
Oh, yeah, right on, yeah.
You want to start a band?
Yeah, but I definitely don't want to play saxophone in it. I'll drum for you, but I definitely won't play saxophone. Yeah, no, I sucked at it. Or I don't know. I just didn't really like. I didn't feel anything. I don't know if you play other instruments, but like, or if you're really good at trumpet. Like, if you like something, there's like such a difference in that. Otherwise, of like, have to go to my lessons or whatever. So
yeah, I wanted to play the drums.
Yeah. Oh, you should honestly pick it up now. Like the drums are. No, you should.
I can't even fucking get on a TTC streetcar. You want me to learn how to play the drums?
But do you have rhythm? Sure, I do. Yeah. So like my parents are both really musical or whatever. So I think they kind of naturally thought, oh, you know, like your sister's into singing. Like my dad's a drummer, my mom's a guitarist. So they had sort of thought maybe that was a natural progression. But in my heart, I really wanted to go there for drama, and I was like, I'm not going to go for music. And they were like, what? Like, what else do you do, child, that we don't know of? And
cocaine.
Yeah,
You're
drugs.
A drug dealer?
I do so much drugs. Which would have been good because that school was like had a lot of drugs going on. But anyways,
every school has a lot of drugs.
Yeah, but they had like farmers fields that they could like hide little grow ups in.
Shit.
That shit was like real. It wasn't like hard drugs or anything. It was just like the people like come over. We have like a horse farm and a grow up in the back. So many kids getting busted for that shit. We had like a resident police officer who would just like knock on our doors and be like, "Can we check so and so's locker?" Oh, 100%. Yeah, and it was never like violent at our school. It was just always drugs, and they would just have dogs that would walk up and they'd sit down at the same old fucking stoner's locker, and it was so like calm. Like it'd be like, all right, you know, Tim, open up the locker. And he'd open up and sure enough he'd just have a big old bag of weed in there, and we're all like, he should learn to hide it somewhere else. And then he just, you know, he wouldn't be in school for a couple weeks and he'd be back. But anyways, so I auditioned for
But anyways,
school.
That was so fucking funny.
But anyways, you know, drug school. I auditioned for that program for drama, and I just memorized a monologue or something like that. And I used to write like all the time, like creative writing. And I used to write these like very emotional stories about things that I had no idea about, but just, you know, I used to write poetry a lot as a kid. Like my mom like pulls out this poetry that I used to write when I was like 8. And I was like, what the fuck was I talking about?
So glad I like grew up in the age of the internet, because all my poetry has been deleted.
Oh, honestly, you're so lucky. She has like books of it.
Jesus Christ.
And it's talking about a lot of stuff where I'm like, I don't even know where I knew those things from. Like I've always often felt like I've had just like another, like I was like reincarnated or something. Because what the fuck? Where did I learn it? Where did I learn like the deep blue of your eyes, like, you know, as an 8 or 9-year-old? Like what? I didn't really even know how to read all that well until later, but I was just I don't know, I was possessed. But yeah, that's so really like cool. I put in like writing samples, and like I memorized some fucking monologue, and so I got into this arts program for drama, and they let us sort of make films there. They let us like play around with photography and do a lot of dramatic stuff. And I got sort of into directing because they had something called the Sears Festival, which is for theater. And I just applied to direct this show called The Most Massive Woman Wins, which was like a really cool moment for me that I remember because it was a very serious play. I was in like grade 11 or 12. And my teachers like had expressed that this film this play had gone on to like win an award before when somebody had done it for a school like competition, and it was like very serious material. It was like the people who were going to act were also going to be students, but they had to like be semi-naked on stage. Because
where the fuck did you go to school?
Yeah, it's a strange place. Okay, they had to be partially naked, but it was about plastic surgery and body image and like all of this stuff. And I felt really honored to like be able to take that on and took it very seriously and just basically directed that. And that sort of was my introduction to directing, I think. Words. And yeah, I used to make like little films about, I don't know, I guess just like loop over a brand new track over and over again of like people like in a cemetery. I was very depressed, I think. But anyways, I used to do very strange sort of overly emotional like little videos and just play with it. Yeah. I mean, I went through that typical like, you know, emo phase. I go like this and no one can see it, but that means bangs in emo sign language.
I immediately understood.
You were like, yeah, emo, bangs. Just like that. Just I think just a lot of feelings is sort of how I would sum that whole thing up. And when it came time to like apply to universities, I was just like, you know, film just seemed an obvious option for me. I did what you're not supposed to do, and I only applied for film. I don't know if that was like I don't think it was a mistake, but it was just like I felt it was just so clear to me that's what I wanted to do. So I was like, well, fuck, why would I apply to anything else? Like, I'll just do it. And my family was very, they were very supportive of it just because I think they are artists themselves and they're white. They're so super white. And they weren't, you know, my mom only really like expressed a bit of apprehension in me going to university because she was sort of like, is university really a good place to learn sort of like things that are hands-on? It's not, but fortunately York, though, you know, you can say other things about York, but their film program is quite good in terms of they do mix theory and hands-on stuff. So like when I was looking at like a program at Queen's or a program at U of T or something like that, it was very much like, read all these books, write all these essays about films, and you're not making any, which didn't really make any sense.
That makes no sense. Yeah, York has that kind of that good like feature to it.
Yeah, in some programs it does. Yeah.
I wouldn't go to Queen's or U of T for anything art.
No, I applied for Queen's and wanted to go so badly, and not for their program, but just because my best friend was going, and she had already got in. Like I was ready to make that life choice. I would have gone like 100% if I had gotten into Queen's. I would have gone, because to me too, it was like at that point it was like, well, it's university. It's like a prestigious school. It's like I was completely brainwashed by that stuff. Yeah. But I would have gone back and been like, do a trade, learn how to plumb. I don't know. No. So yeah, I went to York, which was a really, really good experience. Actually, I had a good time there, and yeah, just made some films there. Did documentary. I don't know. That's that.
Make that so like nonchalant. You know, made some films.
Made some films.
That's really cool. That's cool.
Thank you.
What are they called?
Well, I did a film in university, I think in third year. One was called Welcome to Holland, and it was about the doc was I went to Rochester, New York to film it with this family who has a child who has a super, super, super rare genetic disorder. And it was sort of just about their life and like how they expected something very different. And like it was a sort of a unexpected genetic issue that wasn't screened or found during pregnancy or whatever before. And it was just about their sort of like struggle with that, but also finding like beauty in whatever he is able to do. And also the people that he's brought into their life, because the support staff and the family that actually like shows up and like helps them, and the, you know, all the walks and fundraising that they do. So it was a film sort of day in the life-ish of this family that's like has this child. And so that's a lot of like my documentaries sort of focus a little bit on disability or like disenfranchised something, you know, like people who are, they're not really political, but they're more like an emotional sort of like a storytelling of like a person's experience. So that was like my, one of the like major films that I made in school.
That's so cool.
Thanks.
The only thing I got out of Ryerson was I made chairs.
Sorry?
Really tiny chairs. Really small chairs.
Oh, because you had to do like maquette, like room setup stuff?
Nope. They were like, here are some wood samples. And so they gave us 12 pieces of wood, and we had to try...
like whittle a chair?
No.
Did you go to school for whittling?
That's another Humber program. It's the cabinet
Oh my God, legit?
program.
I think they have basket weaving.
Are you fucking kidding me?
100% not, because I was going through random. I'm like trying to look for things that were like interesting.
Imagine being like, I have a diploma. Actually, I can't say anything.
I'm a basket weaver
in comedy, but
it's a lot better than basket weaving.
Yeah.
Though, like legit, who actually would do basket weaving if not for people who like? I don't think a machine can do that.
Yeah, but like, I feel like that's something that's passed down. You know, like my grandma.
Right. You have to go to like your grandma to learn it.
Yeah.
So why did you make small chairs?
Okay, so they gave us 12 pieces of wood. They were like different kinds. So there was like oak, there was bamboo. I don't remember the rest. That's all I can think of. But there was like 12.
Bamboo. That's all the wood I know.
And then they gave us a different bunch of like veneers and glosses and stains. And we're like, you guys need to use these on the different woods. It was like, use your imagination. Like, whichever stain you think goes well on bamboo, try it. Don't know. I think it was just to understand, like, wood and the way it reacts to different,
stains.
Whatever they're called.
Couldn't you also just have a slab of different woods and just paint them?
Right? But then they were like...
You didn't have to make the chairs, did you?
No.
I'm really concerned about the chairs for some reason. You didn't have
I'm getting to it.
Okay, sorry. Dude, you have to wait. You're too amped up about the fucking
And they
chairs.
said you have to take these pieces of wood after you're done staining them and put them in a composition that look appealing. And they're like, we don't want to see clocks. Everyone does clocks. We don't want to see this. Everyone does this. And everyone was like, what the fuck are we supposed to do? Like, you gave us 12 pieces of rectangular wood that are different colors. They're not the same wood. What do you want us to make?
Right.
And they were like, this isn't an arts and crafts class. And we're like, well, it fucking looks like it.
Sounds like it.
So there's this, I forgot what the designer's name was, but he's known for these like really simplistic. He made the TD building downtown.
I don't know
He's an architect.
about it.
I don't fucking know his name, but I bullshitted my whole way through that assignment, and I was like, this is inspired by whatever the fuck his name is. And the teacher was like, wow, I really see. They made fucking tiny chairs. Okay, I made small chairs. They didn't have arms or anything. It was just
really?
like,
Just
it was 3 pieces of wood. So like the back, the seat, and like what would be the legs was just another piece of wood.
oh my god.
And she was like, yeah, I really see this, and the design is amazing. And she put in the year-end show, like the end of year show. That's like, yep. And I still have those chairs. That's all I came out of Ryerson with. Tiny chairs.
Tiny chairs.
Yeah.
Wow.
No degree, but tiny chairs.
That's all right. I mean, did you learn something from the experience?
Bamboo is my favorite one.
Bamboo and bullshitting.
So you made a documentary and I made tiny chairs.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say. Apples to oranges, I guess. It's very different.
You're changing lives. I'm making sure people sit.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something weird about filmmaking in that way, though, that like you come in to do this certain thing and then you just like fuck off and don't see them. I mean, like I see those people. They're friends of my family. Sorry, that made it sound like I just abandoned people.
It's like, do you want to talk about this?
To a degree, I have abandonment issues. I'm the one who abandons people. It feels to like a degree like abandonment, where you're working on something very in depth and like emotional, and then you don't necessarily like ever do that same thing with that person again. And it's kind of like a weird sensation that like it's like a slice of time. Like if I watch that film, it's like you can tell that it's like several years ago, like because of what kind of video, like what kind of camera it was shot on. It was like on mini DV tapes, which generally looks different. So I don't know. It's like film is bizarre in that way to me, especially documentary. Like when you're doing like a fiction film and working from a script, it's like, okay, that's the script, it's the story, whatever. But it like literally is a piece of like a person's life. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Films are like documentary is cool that way. I think that captures something, right?
That's really cool. I'm so impressed.
And then I made a film about wind turbines, which was really
What's a wind turbine?
Like windmills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Why
for energy.
did I ask you what
I got a question. What's a wind turbine? It was meant to confuse you.
I thought of a fucking animal. I was like, oh,
a wind turbine.
I don't know.
Yeah, like a bird. Like were you thinking like
some kind of like something that like burrows in the snow?
Oh,
I don't
cute!
know.
That's way cuter than wind turbines. I wish.
You're narrating the whole thing.
I'm David Attenborough, and it burrows. It is cute.
I would watch it. It'd be like
I should
3
do that.
minutes long.
I should overdub my like fucking wind energy documentary. That's just like, like just turbines spinning.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, that was for I support it. That was for the university. Like when I graduated, there was this physics professor that was looking for somebody to like make a film about wind energy in Canada. My teacher volunteered me for it, and then when I was like, I don't know, it's like a whole thing, and I was like, I don't know if I can manage it. Like I'm trying to work full time, and he's like, oh, I told them that you'd do it already. I'm like, what the fuck? What? Can you meet with me? And I'm like, okay. So into his office and he sort of explained that it was like a very good opportunity and like whatever. And I was like scared shitless to do stuff like that. Like I remember a couple of opportunities presenting themselves in university. I mean, like, no, like I have to pay rent. Like I couldn't possibly like take that time off, or like what would like I was very worried about like failing at like keeping my head above water, which like in turn kind of like would fuck you over because you're not open to shit. You're not open, and you're so like worried about like that, keeping up with rent and stuff.
But I feel like there's always like those aren't the right times.
That's true. That's a good point.
There's whenever you turn something down, like there's a good reason for it. Because like another door will open. Like I used to think the same thing when I was like working a million jobs and like trying to do shows or whatever, and like having to turn stuff down that really weren't important. Like they were probably open mics at the time, but I remember being like, this could change my life. But I'm a like keen believer in like waiting for the right time. Yeah, like if you're right. There's certain things that did present themselves that were just things. Like if I had done them, I don't know if it would have really made a big difference. But this specific one kind of, you know. And then I talk to my parents, and they get so excited about it that I'm like, oh God, why did I say anything? And then I'm like, I have to do it. 'Cause, well, why did you turn that down? So, you know, and it really was a very unique experience, like traveling Canada and just finding fields where wind turbines were and just filming them. That's really cool. It was fun, but it was I had to edit it, which was also like a very big learning process for me to like. I don't like editing the things that I shoot. Same. Like if I make a film of something, or like I can write something out and just be like, just take care of this, edit it for me. Like I like that as a process of the initial, like, here's the footage, and then I'm trusting to the editor, who's their professional, who's creative, to like do whatever they will with it. But like shooting That's something, ballsy. Oh my God. Is ballsy, but like it works because if you get an editor that you have a good relationship with, you can sit down and be like, what about this? What about that? It's a particular relationship. You can't just give it to anybody. Yeah, I don't know what that's like. You just want to do it all. Yeah, so, you can't let because go like of something? I've worked with shitty people, right? Oh, yeah, so like fair once enough. You work with shitty people, you're like, I'll just scared do it. About it. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I think that's probably why I stick to like a very few. That's my thing now. Yeah, and at least like you hopefully collect those people over time to be like, I'm not going to entrust, because I have been in that situation before, but like I've also burnt out because I've been like, I want to have control over it. And it's not so much a control, like I don't want to like not let anybody have their time to do that thing. It's just like, I don't want to be disappointed. I'm like so fearful of like being disappointed. And I'm like, I'll just fucking do it. I don't want you to disappoint me. I'll fucking do it. It's different when you're disappointing yourself, because you're like, I know I could do this differently. Yep. I could have done this. But when somebody else fucks up, you want to like strangle them, but you're also like, okay. Mm-hmm. Like I'd rather crash my car than like give the keys to a friend of mine and then they crash my car. Like I'd be like, fuck. Like I'd be like, why? I'd be so mad about being disappointed. Weird. Same. I know. I don't know. Maybe it's an art thing. It probably is. But yeah, so like that was the first time that I had really shot something that edited myself in like a professional way. Of course I was doing that before, and it was like daunting. Like I think I had a mini like breakdown in the midst of doing that, like as a younger. Can't be an artist without no, it's so true. Yeah, no, I used to like, I remember they gave me this hard drive with all the footage on it, and it was this like gray metal hard drive with a blue on, like a light that would flash when it was on, and it would just like blink in and out, right? And I remember like being like, no, I'll edit at home. I've got a computer that I can edit on, whatever. And it was like that kind of thing where I'm sure you've gotten into this too with like the artist brain that we have, is like, there's something to be done, but you just can't do it. Yeah. It's you should paralyzing. See my fucking apartment right now. It's paralyzing. No. I don't know why. You're like, I know I have to do something. And that fucking light would just like, I would be sleeping and it would just sometimes like, I don't know, something would run on my computer and it would turn on and like wake me up, and I'd be like, it took me like 2 years to cut that documentary. Holy shit. Like 2 fucking years. You should see all the footage I have on my computer of the times I wanted to start a YouTube channel. Really? There's just so many videos on my laptop of me being like, hey guys, talking about nothing. And then I'm like, why didn't you do it? Because you don't like the content, or you couldn't get over the like hump of doing it? Both. It's kind of like, also when you see yourself in something and you have to edit that, you're like, oh, it's so different. This is so stupid. Like anytime I record a joke, I'm like, oh, I'm going to put this on Facebook. Then I'm like, this is so bad. Like, what was I thinking? But also that's because like you've already gone through it 700 times. Like the audience doesn't see that. The audience just sees the one thing that you've put out there. Oh yeah, for sure. Right? So like, that's so true. And we're as artists, like we're so hard. We're like our biggest critics. Yep. And that whole anxiety thing. Like when it comes to promoting my stuff, I'll wait till the last minute now if I have too much money. Yeah. To promote it. But like, but because you have so many things going on, or because you're just like anxious up to the point of like procrastination? It's definitely anxiety. Like, cause Now we're talking about me and my mental health issues. No, I'm joking. But you know, like, you know, when
Let's
you're
talk
so
about
excited,
our mental health issues. Yeah.
when you're so excited about something and then it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and then you're thinking about how you're going to disappoint yourself or you're going to disappoint everyone else in case it doesn't turn out, yada, yada, yada. And then you never end up putting it out until like 2 minutes before, and everyone's like, oh, the show's now? Okay.
I'll be there. And we still sell out, so fuck you, all of you.
This is my marketing manager, everyone.
I just popped in. Yep, it's late and we still sold out. Fuck all of y'all. And it's done. And that's how that goes.
We throw Evoke Media cards at the audience.
They're like, what is this? Just go to the website as a QR code. Scan it.
I started putting QR codes on my poster.
Yeah, it's dope, right? Yeah, I like it. Oh, did it actually?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It wasn't my idea.
Well, I was
the QR codes was like one of the younger interns, and I was like, yeah, I know what QR codes are.
I feel so old. Yeah. I was like, I remember Googling it. I was like, QR codes, and like 30 websites opened up, and they're like, sign up, and I was like, I don't want to sign up.
For what?
Yeah. So that's where I am in my life now.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, it's a hard plight, the artist plight. I feel like there's I don't know, there was a TA of mine who used to say that there's like these periods of, oh fuck, I'm gonna forget the fucking artist. I should have Van Gogh, I think, you know, but he's one who chopped off his ear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something about
the one
like
reference I get.
You know, the one, not Godzilla, just who chopped their ear off, I'll know. Yeah, so Van Gogh, it's like about you're sort of tortured, I guess. You have that sort of like you side where you can be really productive and like creative, but there's also sort of that there's like a darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a total darkness, I think, for every maybe everybody, but like artists, I think we can see sort of like that other, I don't know, underground side to things.
100%.
Yeah.
I go through phases where like for a week or like I'll go through like weird binge phases where like in my artist bubble, like for a week, I'll just be like super high and super drunk, not get anything done. And then a week later, I'm like in the gym, I'm eating healthy, everything's great.
Yep.
And like everything's back to normal, and everyone's like, "Where were you last week?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it."
Really? Eh?
It's so
that
weird.
extreme.
It's not like
it's one or the other for you.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but they don't last long. Like I won't be. I'm not somebody that's gonna like. I sound like an addict now. I'm like, I can quit whenever I want. No,
I have control.
But I have really weird phases. I did the same thing with bananas when I was a kid. Ate a bunch of bananas.
Couldn't poop. That's what happens, right?
That's probably why I poop too much now.
They're still working their way through. I got a lot of bananas up there. It's like me. I used to perpetually swallow gum as a child.
Same. Still do that.
Do you really? I do too. Oh my God. That's like a deep secret for me. Because if anybody would be like, no, don't do that. It's bad for you. I'm like, I fucking know that.
I don't believe that it's bad.
No, you know what? As a child, let's get real. We're going to talk about the poop section. Okay, here we go.
Part of the show. It's in the description.
I remember my mom telling me like not to do it because I would always want those bubblicious thingies, you know, super sugary. And like I just wanted to swallow it. Like I'd do 2 like bites or like chews, and my instinct, my brain's like, swallow it. And I couldn't fucking fight it. And I would just be like, and I'd swallow it. And my mom would go, did you just swallow that gum?
Good sound effect.
Thanks. Foley artistry. Yeah, she'd be like, did you just swallow that gum? And I'm like, no. And she's like, open your mouth. And I just take a look and there was no fucking gum there. And she'd be like, you can't do that. Like it's going to like stop in your intestines and like create a blockage and all this stuff.
I don't think it will though. Then stomach acid.
I pooped and saw the gum. Because it was bright fucking pink.
All right.
And I was like, well, Mom, I just performed my own experiment and you're wrong. So I kept on doing it into adulthood.
Your mom's like, I don't know what to do.
She's like, I have no idea what to do. I don't know what to do. She figured it out. We're going through gum like crazy.
We just can't afford it.
We can't afford it. It's
we
too
tried
much
to
gum.
lie to her and it's just not.
Doesn't work. Just keeps swallowing all the gum.
When my brother was really young, he was probably like 2 or 3 years old, and we heard him like yelling from the bathroom. Just like imagine like a child like screaming in horror. And we were like, "What's going on?"
Oh no!
And we went upstairs, and he was like, "My poop is blue."
Oh, did he eat blueberries?
We went to an ice cream shop, and we both got blueberry. I mean, not
like
bubblegum ice
cream.
Some shit,
yeah.
And it was blue with bubblegum inside it, and his poop just straight up like came out like ice cream. Like it was just like,
oh my God.
It just went right through his body.
That's concerning. I'd be concerned too. Still as an adult,
He's
I'd be like,
kid.
what? my boob is blue.
And we were all laughing. He was like, why are you laughing?
Oh, that's a horrible moment for him. Because he probably was panicking. He probably was. It was like that was the equivalent of him getting his period for the first time, being like, "Am I dying?"
When I got my period for the first time, my mom was like, "Time to get some tools," and I was like, "What tools?
What tools?"
Just talking about pads, but she was trying to make
don't
it
use
seem
tools.
like
that means like
discreet,
a wrench,
right?
Or a hammer.
Like, are you gonna
put it back in? I'll put it back in.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have siblings. I have one sister who is older than me.
Oh, okay. That explains why you sympathize with my younger brother.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's probably where that's a horrible moment for him. Everyone's scattered around, crying, laughing, and he's freaking out.
Me, the older sister, I'm like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's not hilarious.
Whatever. He peed on me once. It's fine.
Wow, I didn't do that. Actually, I barfed on my sister once. Actually, you know what? No. It wasn't technically barfing. I have this very distinct memory of having a high fever at my grandmother's house. She gave me some Tylenol chewables, and my sister and I, delicious. Love that grape. My sister we were sharing a bed, and I barfed on my pillow. I'm like, oh, so it's like, and then I went and I just turned it and put it near her instead, and she rolled over on it.
That's disgusting.
I know. That was really bad.
That's does she know that?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I told her later in life. Maybe not. I hope she doesn't listen to this.
If you're listening,
and be like, hey. I think I put a toilet brush into like a tooth or toilet brush.
It's like, why is your sister
We all have our own
mouth?
toilet brushes. We use it on our teeth. No, sorry. I put her toothbrush in the toilet bowl.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's a thing that kids do, right?
My brother took anything he could have possibly taken because he loved to watch things spin around in the toilet. We don't understand.
Oh, wow.
And my
Sounds
mom
like a
took
weird
that
kid.
as a, right?
Yeah.
But my parents, my immigrant parents were like, look at him in his mind. He's a genius. He is...
Why?
It was such a reach. They were like, look, he's watching the water means he understands. He's going to be an engineer. He's going to be an engineer. I was like, guys, he's flushing shit down the toilet. Relax. My mom was like, no.
He's an asshole. He's not going to be an engineer. He flushed my Barbies down. What the fuck?
One time he came out of the shower and we knew something was wrong when he'd go silent. Like, you know, you can hear children running around, but
Totally,
like if they're silent.
If they stop moving, it's like,
right,
who's dead?
Where are they?
Yeah.
So we heard silence. We're like, man, he just finished showering. What the heck happened? And I walked into my room, and it was a carpeted room, and he was standing next to my night table, butt naked, just taking a piss. You were just in the washroom, just taking a piss on the floor.
What? Like, he was awake? He wasn't sleepwalking?
He was
out of the shower?
Wide fucking awake. And
why?
Like,
but why?
To mark his territory in my room?
How
I don't know.
How old was he?
He was like 5.
Oh my God, I would smack that child. Sorry. What did your parents do? Hopefully they didn't praise him and be like, oh, he's gonna be an engineer.
He's gonna be a painter.
He's gonna be a painter. He loves yellow. It's his yellow phase. Oh my God.
I don't know.
Well, you guys are close now though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're
homies.
You're really far apart in age, or?
Yeah, we're 7 years apart.
Oh, that's the same as my husband and his brother.
How far apart are you and your sister?
3 years.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That means your parents planned to have you both.
Yep. Well, my mom had a lot of fertility problems, so I think it was because of that. Like, it was like sort of like, got to get this done when we can get it done.
Get her done.
Get her done. Pop that baby out. Yeah, no, I think it was also that. Like, she had to wait a longer period in order to have her first kid successfully. So, yeah, I think that it was about that, like just closer together.
Yeah.
Probably doctor's orders of some sort, but
I think my parents were just didn't understand the concept of condoms.
Do you really believe that?
Oh yeah, my dad was
Really?
like, well, my mom didn't want kids. My mom was like,
oh, you know that information about your mother?
Yeah.
That's an awkward thing.
Surprise. Well, because like her plan was, she was like, I'm leaving Sudan to pursue an education in Canada.
Right.
Like, everyone fucking should.
Yeah.
And then when she married my dad in Sudan, they came here together. And then he was like, actually, I want to have a family. And she was like, okay, but like, I want to go to school first. They were married
already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They got married back home. They came here. And she was like, yeah, I want to finish my education. And he was like, yeah, but like, and she was like, okay, but like, so she had me.
Oh.
And they didn't like
finish school?
She finished school with me. She like
yes,
yeah. She has a photo of me on her graduation, and I'm like screaming in the parking lot.
Yeah, that actually just gave me chills. I feel a little emotional right now.
When I think about it, I'm like, that's crazy. I couldn't even put myself through school, let alone like have.
But
a
like
child.
that's what I'm saying. Like, wow, strength. Like that's unbelievable. Ooh.
Yeah. Now I get why she's so bitter.
I was gonna say bitter, but I didn't want to like jump the gun on it and be like, no, wonderful.
No, I go, she's so loving. No, she's really great. She's like definitely like a tough love kind of person.
Yeah.
And but she's like the mama bear.
Yeah.
Like if anything goes down,
she takes care of business.
Yeah. Or she tries to. She's very sweet. One time I was like being bullied by like a group of friends and she was like, you should email them. I was like,
email them what?
No one emails, Mom. She was like, email them how you feel. And I was like, I'm not doing that.
What happened? Did you do it?
I don't even remember. It was probably just like a teenager like quarrel.
Oh, yeah.
Is that how you say the word? Quarrel? Listen, I don't know.
Professor Quarrel? Is it quarrel or quarrel? I think it's quarrel. I think now it sounds weird.
I'm like, it's not my first language.
It's not my, oh, really?
But it is.
But it is. I was like, I don't really. I think that's really cool that your mom would do that. My mom was very like hands-on that way, and she would go in person to like fuck people up, like in terms.
Yes, mama.
No, honestly, yeah. My sister got bullied a lot, and she would not be like, send an email or let's call family. She would go to the playground and be like, you come here. Like she was like scary.
I can't wait to be that mom.
Me too, man.
I want to like shake kids upside down.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't want my kids to get bullied, but like, if it happens,
you'll be fine with the shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was very like that. Just she couldn't stand. She has like a very big passion. Like what if she gets like a fire is lit in her, like it's very hard to like okay bring it back. Like
Are you sure she's not a Scorpio?
No, she's a Capricorn. My dad's a Scorpio, and yeah, he also is very passionate. When we get into like conversations, when my husband first like when we were dating, he'd be like, is everyone okay? And we're like, yeah, we're great. Like he can't get a word in edgewise, the poor guy. Like sometimes I'll be like, guys, like Richard's trying to say something, because he's like, I know. He just is very pensive and will like be like, I know. And he'll like pause for that minute, not a minute, like a moment. And in that moment, my family just keeps going and they'll jump in and they'll continue on with that. And he just can't get into the conversation. And I'll have to actually be like, guys, I think he wants to say something.
What
and
sign
be
is
like,
your husband?
What sign is my husband? He's a Virgo too. We're a day apart.
Oh my God, what?
Yeah, really weird.
Do you guys have joint birthdays? Mm-hmm. That's so
weird.
Cute.
Now that you said it, I was like, yes, we do.
Well, I always thought of that. I'm like, if I ever like marry someone that like has a birthday
in the same month or something.
Yeah, I'd want to do a joint birthday.
Yeah,
but that's because I'm extra. Like not like a regular joint. I want like a fucking hall. I want.
That'd be awesome. I want to do that
invited.
Now. Yes. Yeah, I want to do that now. Maybe we'll rent a hall. He'll be like, no, I don't want to do that.
I've already planned it. Yeah, tell him I've already planned it.
It's all done. Like for my 30th, but you don't have to do this. Like, it'll be for your 31st. No one cares. Yeah. So my mom is very passionate though. Yeah, super, super passionate with like getting in people's, not in their faces. She's a very kind person, but like, yeah, if something was like out of place or wrong, like she wouldn't be quiet about it.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. Like, but she was also on the flip side, like super nice and kind to the people who deserved kindness, I guess, and people who deserved to be told to like take a hike. She'd do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's super passionate, but yeah.
I like that we learned so much about each other's
I know,
families.
Which is like so random.
My brain just stopped.
I got
so involved. I was like, I want to meet your family. I want to hang out with them.
You would love them.
I think that they would be terrified of me.
Really?
I don't know.
Why would they be terrified of you?
Sometimes I just feel like I scare people. Well, it's also because like the other day I was walking. And I witnessed my reflection and I looked so fucking mad. And I don't know. I was having a great time and I looked at myself and I was like, whoa.
You just have resting scared or like angry person face?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that. I think that I don't know. I think that like, I think I can look really serious too. Like if I'm thinking about something or like people probably don't approach me much because I give off like a vibe of like, just don't fucking bother me right now. Like when I'm walking around, I think that's sort of a vibe I give off.
Maybe that's like a thing that like women give off. So like,
I think, no, you're 100% right. Yeah. Like I went for a walk this morning on like a trail near, yeah, this is kind of fucked up. I was thinking about this. I'm happy that I remembered to talk to you about this, but like going to the Humber Trail and, it was really early in the morning and every man that I passed, I like was very aware and conscious of like any potential danger that could like happen could be like, that's like that guy could be dangerous. And I was like so aware of that I would like try to like make myself look different, like tough. I even was like, you know what, I'll wear a hat when I'm like going. So I'm not like, I don't know, like just so I'm covering myself up to not feel like I'm welcoming any sort of words.
I totally get that.
I don't know. That's so fucked up.
It is really fucked up. It's weird because like you can physically feel that weight on you.
You can. You really can.
It's like it's as if you just put on like armor and you're ready to like fucking fight. And it's just you're just trying to go on a walk.
And I would actually think of like I listen to a lot of true crime though, so I kind of feel like I was like hyper aware.
My mom does that.
Oh my god, I listen to so much true crime, like so much murder.
My mom
like,
reads the old books. What's that author's name?
Oh, I don't know. I don't read the books. I just listen to really disturbing podcasts.
You two would get along.
I want to meet her and be like, so let's talk true crime with Anna's mom.
It's so weird though. We'll watch like action films,
yeah,
and people will be like thrown across the room and shot. And she'll be like, "Turn this off." And my dad will look at her and be like, "You watch murder shit all the time." And she's like, "That's different. I like to know why they killed people." I'm like, "That's creepy." Okay,
I'm about the psychology, not about the violence.
And my dad's always like, "One day she's going to kill me."
At least she knows how to hide the body. You should be like, she's studying on how not to get caught.
She's actually still in school. Like she's really? Like she's finished like a bunch of degrees and like
what is she in school for now?
I have no idea.
Wow.
I think she did like e-commerce. Now she's doing like marketing.
Cool.
I'm not really sure.
Do your parents own their business together? Like your dad he owns the textile business, right? Sorry, am I so wrong? Am I so wrong?
It's funny that you said that.
Oh, why?
No, he owns a bath and kitchen store.
Oh, what's textiles?
Like rugs.
Fuck, I'm sorry. Textiles? I thought textiles were also tiles.
Is it?
Oh my god, I don't know.
I could be so wrong.
Maybe you
tuning
said
in right now,
just fucking Google textiles and text me later.
Okay, before I ramble on, I wanted to ask you.
Sorry.
How did you get involved with Plaid Zebra? Because I met you through a random women's writers group.
That's true. Yeah, we definitely did read through. We met through that. Yeah. That was so random.
That is so. I think about it sometimes. And I'm like, wow, what a time in my life.
Yeah. I totally. Yeah, I thought about that too. Like, oh, how did I meet Anna? Like, yeah, it was just through like this place where we just gathered at a bar and like, oh my god. No, like, so I was looking for some more, like, some employment, but I was always caught between, like, at that time I was looking to go back to school for occupational therapy because I was like, I don't know, like, do I embrace this artistic side where I'm, like, into digital media and film? Or do I embrace that side of that I like working with people with disabilities? Because that's also, like, mixed in with that as early as I could work. Like, when I started working for the city of Brampton when I was, like, 15, doing camp counseling.
Ah, yes.
Full out camp counselor. And I was doing arts camps because I liked film and whatever, drama and all that stuff. And the city camps are really, really terrible in terms of like providing specialized support to, well, they were, I don't know about now, but families who have children with disabilities. And so, sorry?
Oh man, I was going to try and whisper something. Continue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the actual like camps weren't great at providing supports to families with disabilities. So we would have these camps that ended up like we'd have all these kids who didn't have specialized support, and they would be in our camp and we couldn't like we didn't want to kick them out, but they had difficulties, they had problems in that way, and we needed to support them however we could. So basically like a lot of the camp counselors that I worked with didn't know what to do. Like they were just like teenagers and like, oh, I don't know, like what the fuck, how do I help this kid who has autism? I don't even know what autism is.
Right.
And I always had sort of like an affinity to help like kids with disabilities at school. Like if they were like needed a bus pal or something like that, like I would always like volunteer to do that. And so I would always like have like different experiences in early work where I was just sort of thrust into these positions that had to like help support a kid who had disability.
What like brought you into that?
It was like by accident because there was support that wasn't given. Like you'd have a parent who would sign up and be like, I can't afford a one-on-one, or they told me there's no more one-on-ones like specialized support for my kid for summer camp, so I'm just not going to put down that they have a disability. And then they would show up to the first day of camp and we'd be like, this person needs more support than just like 2 camp counselors and like 16 children. And we used to have at least 1 or 2 kids who'd come in and like have like really intense behavioral issues, or never really like physical disabilities, but like a lot of behavioral problems. And either they were undiagnosed or the family knew it and couldn't like afford the support. So and a lot of kids just didn't know. A lot of the other camp counselors were like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And so I would just be like, well, I mean, either they get kicked out or we do something with them. So I would just do what I could with them. So it was very early on that sort of was like something that was put in my life. It wasn't something I sought out or whatever. And then, and in university, I got a job at a theater company that did productions with people with disabilities. And so we wrote and directed and did all these programs basically with people who have like intellectual disabilities or physical disabilities. So I came to a point in my life where like I had so many years of work experience, but like I'm not certified in any way, but like it's just real life experience to work with people with disabilities, or, you know, should I be forwarding my film career? So I was like at sort of a crossroads, and I was like, you know what, the film thing is cool. I would get like grants to do things here and there. I would do a project here and there, but like I didn't really know where I fit, because also when you walk into a place, you're like, I'm a director. They're like, yeah, join the fucking club. Like everybody's a director. But I didn't really think I'd be happy doing something like PA work or production management, even though I can do those. I just didn't want to really get into that. So I applied for school to be an occupational therapist, didn't get in. I was like so bummed out about it, but I really wanted to find that balance where I could like have digital media and also work with people who needed help, basically. And so I met Frank, and I basically just like had an interview with him, and he hired me on to work one-on-one with a couple of his clients, and then it sort of just snowballed. I met Jess, she wrote it with Diane, and that's how I met you.
That's what a wild journey.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Mm-hmm. And that is how we came to know one another. And you wrote the funniest shit. Like you wrote the funniest shit.
I kept doing stuff wrong.
It doesn't matter. It was like way better than like all the rest of us would follow the rules, and it would just be like, okay, here it is, cool. But then you would get up there and be like, I'm going to talk about this, and we're like, that's not the assignment, and then you just go for it. And I literally think to myself, this is like watching a stand-up show, which is, you know, you mentioned you did stand-up and everything, but
I think that was like my escape of like being able to write stand-up in a setting that wasn't stand-up, in a setting where I wasn't even really writing stand-up. Like when I was in school, I was like so miserable and like couldn't really express myself. And then Diane, who I met when
how did you find it? Actually, flip side.
Take this in. I worked at the Keg for like less than 2 months. They fired me.
Oh, fuck.
Well, yeah, they were all like, it was an interesting job. Mm-hmm. I was new to the city, and I was literally like the new girl. Like I was like from the town, right?
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed.
The city just crushed my soul.
The city was Godzilla, and now you're Godzilla in the city.
What?
Godzilla in the city.
But yeah, I met her. She was one of the few people who were like so nice to me.
Yeah, she's super nice.
And just like so lovely and like so warm, and like still is.
Yeah.
And we just stayed in touch, and she reached out to me and was like, I'm doing this women's writers thing. I don't even think maybe she just posted on Facebook, and I was like, I'm going to go to this.
That's so cool.
But she's just been so great.
Yeah.
And then I met you, and I met Jess.
Yeah, Jess, yep.
Now I'm here.
We're here.
The Plaid Zebra, which I called Played Zebra for like...
The Played Zebra. A lot of people do, actually.
I just read it how it's written.
I tell people when they ask me for my email address, you know, what is it? And I say, oh, let me write it down. Because inevitably, the what? The Plague Zebra? I'm like, no, what's a Plague Zebra? It's like a
reverse National Geographic. It's just about the death of animals.
The dead animals? The Plague Zebra? I'm like, oh, just let me write it down, please. .com. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that happened, and I'm happy about your podcast.
Me too.
You're killing it.
I'm happy about your podcast.
Thanks.
I was listening to ours today because I wanted to get some inspiration of.
Yeah.
And then I was like, let's get real. I never have anything prepared.
I think you do. I think that you're thinking prepared means like writing everything down and having it on a sheet of paper, but like your brain's clearly always working. So I think like
there's like another person in my head that's like doing stuff for me, because like
just cycling.
There was an episode of Black Mirror like that.
Oh, I didn't see that one, but I do think about that Men in Black. I'm going back to the 90s real hard today, but the Men in Black thing when they pop that guy's head open, there's like a little alien inside.
Oh my God, I don't remember that.
Controlling the person's body. I love that movie. You have to watch it.
I love Men in Black.
MIB.
But I have the memory of a fucking peanut. I don't know
Hence your Godzilla reference, which was like fucking lost. Oh, so much effort just to get it out.
I'm going to start doing like one of the podcasts a month. I can't even speak right now.
That's fine.
See, you hyped me up, and I was like, that's fine. Yeah, everyone thinks I'm smart, so we'll just leave it at that.
Let's cut it at she's smart.
Oh my God, wait, I have to ask you the most important question that I've been asking on all the other podcasts. If you're a kitchen utensil, what would you be?
Spatula.
Why?
Because I like to mix things up.
You've been waiting for this moment.
taking notes while you're doing things. And like when she finally interviews me, I'll say spatula. Wait, is a spatula even a whisk? See, I didn't even really answer.
I totally
properly.
Believed you.
Spatula like, still mix things up. Fuck it, cut it. We're good.
Anything can mix anything.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You have the answer now.
Well, amazing.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you for being on. That's gonna be your t-shirt. It'll be perfect.